Huh. Oh, there's a camera here. This is convenient. Okay, well, hi everybody. This is different. Right now I am visiting my relatives out of state, and my uncle was nice enough to lend me his unfinished basement. He's currently working on it. There's a bunch of power tools down here. Maybe I'll work them into the video somehow. I don't know. But, yeah, the review must go on, of course. So today we are still going to be talking about One Piece Chapter 1022, titled The Stars Take the Stage. Right, Barry? Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. This was kind of last minute, so Barry stayed behind back in Pennsylvania. However, I do have his second cousin, Larry. That's right. Say hi, Larry. He's from North Carolina. Okay, so I'm just gonna put you up back here. All right, there's Larry. Everything's exactly the way it is, except with a little bit more echo, but we'll get through it. Okay, so the cover page for this chapter is nothing special, not as epic as last time with Frankie and Senor Pink. And by the way, they were drinking gimlets. Somebody told me that. I thought they were drinking martinis. They were actually gimlets. That's actually the name of a drink, and it was also the name of Senor Pink and Russian Sun. So that's the whole reason that all came full circle. But no, this week it's just the Tontatas in a hydrangea bush playing hide and go seek with some frogs. Rather adorable, but not really that impactful. So let's continue where we left off. Okay, so we have a little bit of narration actually, not the CP0 doing the go board stuff, just an actual narrator coming on. Every time it's a narrator over the One Piece, you know, like dialogue boxes, I always think of just the Hunter x Hunter narrator. There was no better narrator in all of anime than the Hunter x Hunter narrator guy, especially in the English dub and in the Japanese as well, but I think they just did an amazing job. Just like, you know, Gon and Killua arrived at the palace at exactly 4:52 a.m. Now, actually, no, it was midnight, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, like he just did a really epic job. So anyway, I'll try to do it like that. The samurai of Wano rebelled against Orochi and Kaito. Their numbers were only 5,400 strong against the Beast Pirates' 30,000. But now the gap is slowly beginning to close. Okay, so we see scenes of this really cool samurai jumping up with like a giant flail. I'm not really sure if that's a standard samurai weapon. I know they used like pole arms like naganatas and matchlocks and stuff, but this guy just has like a giant freaking mace and a chain, just like, aha! So he's like throwing it at the Beast Pirates. We see some of the gifters are still fighting, just to represent. We also see some prisoners from Udon there as well, and we don't get an exact number. That will probably be with the CP0 and the Go board eventually when we get to them, but it does state that the disparity with the numbers is definitely showing now, especially after Otama's Kibi Dango strategy. I love how they actually put that in there. Like, yeah, the rebellion was really on the ropes there until this 8-year-old girl used the Kibi Dango strategy. Just goes to show that devil fruits are such an unknown factor in the One Piece world. You really cannot have a definitive battle like with tactics and everything when devil fruits are involved. They are like the ace in the deck, you know what I mean? Like, you just never know what they're going to be capable of. And in this case, you know, Tama just happened to have the devil fruit that allowed her to manipulate animals, and like most of Kaido's crew are animals, or a good chunk of them have the artificial zones, and who would have thought that that was going to happen? It's the same with anything. Like, you know, if you had a devil fruit, like, I don't know, Osaru's Wash no Mi, that could change the tide of battle too, because that can, you know, revert people, that can change people from evil to good, alright? So it's just, you know, devil fruits are such a crazy factor. You can never, like what the CP0 were doing, where they were sitting down and they were so sure that the Beast Pirates are going to win. You don't know what's going to happen with this kind of stuff. So we see a little map of the live stage as well as the area around it, and like the locations of all the different battles going on. I should really do a video trying to do like a breakdown of the layout of Kaido's manor, because this is the best like bird's eye view of it we've ever gotten. But like, is the whole manor inside of the Skull Dome? I think it is, but there's certain parts of it that like tunnels that snake around the Skull Dome, and there's parts of it that go outside, and there's also like rivers and stuff that run through it. It's really massive. But at any rate, you have the live stage right in the center, and then you have these giant pagodas, you know, in feudal Japanese style, where all the different levels are, you know. So like Kid and Law are fighting Big Mom right now on the 2nd level. Black Maria was just defeated by Robin and Brooke on the 3rd level. The 4th level's where Jinbei defeated Who's Who. That's where the Cat Cafe was. The 5th level, I don't really know. We didn't really get a lot about the 5th level. I always like to think the 5th level was Drake's level before before he, you know, defected. And then, of course, you have the roof, okay? Well, anyway, we kind of cut around Onigashima, and we see 3 Tobi Ropo. We don't see all 6 of them, but we see Black Maria, Who's Who, and Sasaki with the captions, you know, in the official viz, it's just the Tobi Ropo are down and out. In the some other translations, it just says they've been defeated, but the viz is like, nope, they're down and out. They're gone. Now, we don't see ulti and we don't see page 1. We see their locations on the map, but we don't see a close-up of them. So we see Black Maria there on the ground with her eyes whited out, just having her neck and back basically broken by Robin in her demon form that she has now. Then we have Who's Who that looks like he has his like skull caved in, because it's not just his mask. It seems like the top of his head has been like caved in a little bit, and there's this giant crack on his mask where Jinbei punched him with the demon brick fist. And then we also have Sasaki, who's just on the ground bleeding out. I was under the impression that maybe the Tobi Ropo were going to revive at some point, because it was stated that ancient zones have a lot more endurance, and from what we saw with Ulti was able to survive a point-blank laser maser cannon attack from Big Mom, and still able to get up and fight after that, okay? Sasaki took a point-blank radical beam from Frankie, and I admit that's pretty damn powerful, but like, I mean, is it more powerful than the Maser Cannon? So I don't know about this yet. I'm not sure. I know it says like they've been defeated and everything's moving along, but I'm still holding out hope that at least maybe Sasaki and Who's Who, because they're kind of like the strongest out of the Tobi Ropo, they might still be able to get up. And I'm not saying they're not injured, like they just get back up like nothing happened, but they might have, you know, a comeback at some point. So I don't know. Where do you stand on that? Like, no, Matt, the Tobi Ropo are gone. They're never coming back. Okay. So now we cut over to mainland Wano, where Onigashima is looming, and the narrator comes on and says, Onigashima is currently floating over the Wano mainland. The time before it reaches the flower capital, 15 minutes. Bum 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 bum! Oh, that's cool. I have echo now. I have acoustics. Bum 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 bum! Cool, okay. So anyway, we have Luffy there on the ground, and he has just finished gorging himself on all the food that Caribou provided. Caribou's kind of in the background like, he ate all of it? All of it! I brought all this food! I literally had enough food to feed an army for like a month, and he ate all of it? So he's freaking out. Luffy's just kind of striking a pose like, yeah, I'm back, we did it. Now we have to get back up to Onigashima. So we see that very briefly. Now we cut over actually to Raizo's fight. So Oda's doing a sort of good job of kind of, you know, moving around. I'm sure Oda has like a little list next to him, like who's fighting who and everything like that. Not who's fighting Who's Who. That was, of course, Jinbei, but that fight's over. Who's fighting who in reference to the Samurai, the Rebellion versus the Beast Pirates and Orochi's group, of course. So maybe Oda's just going down the list and he's like, oh yeah, we haven't checked in with, you know, Raizo and Fukurokuju, the awesome ninja battle, so let's see what's going on there. And yeah, it is a ninja battle. You ever see Naruto, or maybe Boruto, I don't know. Maybe there's some bolts around here. There are bolts, these are the screwdriver bits. Okay, whatever, anyway, that was a joke that was going nowhere. Okay, point is, ninja battle! Okay, so we have Raizo there using the Ninpo clone technique, so clones of him are popping all over the place. We've seen him do that before, as well as Fukurokuju's signature technique, the earlobe cracker. This was actually something that was revealed in the SBS. Oda went through all the different signature moves of the Oniwabanshu. Like, one of them is gifted at, like, you know, the summoning jutsu, Kuchiyose no jutsu, and another one's gifted at, like, genjutsu. Another one is, like, the arrow jutsu technique, you know, shooting arrows out like Yume and like grabbing people and stuff. So Fukurokuju's was earlobe cracker, and we didn't really know what that meant, but he does have very long earlobes and a very large forehead. So the earlobe cracker technique, you don't really have to think too much about it. He literally just strikes the ninja sign, and then the earlobes just come up and like whip around like whips or flails, and he can kind of control them with his mind, I guess, to like deflect shuriken or other techniques. They're having a little bit of a debate here on what it means to be a true ninja, okay? So Raizo asks the million-dollar question to Fukurokuju, why are you still following Orochi? What do you need at this point? Like, really? Like, can you not see he's a despot? Can you not see he's a brutal dictator that cares not for you? Like, all of the Oniwabanshu, all of the Mimawarigumi, everybody in Wano, he literally said he doesn't care about any of you. You could all just, you know, perish. And that's really what his ultimate goal was. And so Fukurokuju, I gotta be honest with you, I was was kind of seeing, like, what was he going to do to respond to this? Why is he following Orochi so steadfastly, other than maybe having his own ambitions in the background? Like, maybe Fukurokuju was like, oh, I'm working with Orochi, so maybe I could become the Shogun. Maybe something like that, or maybe trying to get access to the gold or all the money, you know, in the castle or something. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Fukurokuju's response here, I mean, it sort of makes sense, okay? He explains that, like, you let emotions cloud you too much, Raizo. The goal of becoming a true ninja is to abandon all of your emotions and dedicate yourself to the ninja way. To be more of a machine, if nothing else, you know? Don't think about anything, don't have any attachments to everything, and the ninjas, the Oniwabanshu, fight for Orochi. Fight for the Shogun of Wano. That is, like, their one duty that they are, like, programmed. So, I mean, like, you could say that's a lame excuse, but I sort of get it, you know, like, if you're trained your whole life, like, your duty is to not think, it's to not feel, it's to be a ninja that works for the Oniwabanshu under the Shogun. Whoever the Shogun is, doesn't matter. What they order, doesn't matter. What you gotta do as a ninja, doesn't matter. You do it, okay? And so I sort of get that. And Fukurokuju is basically saying to Raizo, like, hey, it's at least better than what you guys are doing. You're just basically chasing after a ghost, you know, Odin, who died like 20 years ago at this point. And Raizo has this really good line, and we also see scenes. He gets knocked back by the earlobe, by the way. He gets smacked right in the face, and he hits the ground. And so Raizo's on the ground. By the way, the whole battlefield they're fighting on right now is awash in flames, okay, because Orochi started burning everything down. Oh, wait, let me try that down here. I am the Orochi! I gotta explain some stuff to my uncle later. You know, it's like, okay, he said, yeah, you go downstairs and you can film this. It's like, okay, this might be a little loud, I apologize. Okay, so anyway, but no, he lands and Raizo says, you know, we are ghosts. We're not just fighting for a ghost, we are ghosts. You know, we have come back to avenge our master, Odin. That's why we're here. That's why all of us are putting our lives on the line, because we've technically already given up our lives. So basically, Raizo is kind of countering Fukurokuju's argument with, like, I sort of am accepting the creed of a ninja, but in a different way, right? Also, Fukurokuju does admit Raizo's ninja skills are very strong, all right? He doesn't say, like, you know, Raizo's the best ninja ever, but he says, you know, Raizo, you have incredible talent as a ninja. It's just that, you know, you let your emotions cloud your judgment, and that's the problem, right? So anyway, that's a scene there, and we actually get a scene of all the different scabbards and where they're currently at. Now, we don't see their locations, we just see a close-up of them. So Kawamatsu, Izo, they're still fighting. Denjiro, we haven't seen what's up with Denjiro in a while. We just see him holding his sword and running to a destination. And I really want to see a really badass Denjiro fight at some point during this arc, you know? Nekomamushi, we're actually going to see what's going to happen with him a little later in this chapter. Inuarashi is still fighting Jack. We just see him close up. His tongue's sticking out because he's a doggo, of course, and he seems kind of winded, but he doesn't seem like brutally injured or anything like that, so he's still fighting Jack. Ashura Doji is lying in the snow. He's still unconscious. He hasn't moved since the explosion. He's probably going to be taken out the rest of this battle. And then we see Kinemon on the ground, bleeding out, probably still in the attic where he was defeated by Kaido. And we see Okiku. And at first I thought, I don't know about this panel. We see a panel with Okiku, and all we see is her, like, half of her face and one of her arms. Well, I guess she only has one arm right now, but you know what I mean. And the first way I interpreted that was she was conscious, and she was, like, you know, like, moving on the ground, like, trying to get away from where she was, trying to move. But I guess another way of taking it is, no, she's just unconscious on the ground, because we don't really see her eyes or anything like that. We just see her lower mouth, but it kind of looks like she's smiling. So maybe she did regain consciousness, and it's like, I gotta get back to the fight, and she's trying to, like, drag herself across the floor. Not really sure there. But Raizo ends out his speech with another parallel to the dawn and the night that's going to be ending. And this is something that has been brought up a bunch of times. It got brought up by Pedro, and, you know, the Nox pirates bringing in the dawn of the world. Raizo says, you know, this is the last night that Kaido and Orochi rule Wano. Tomorrow will be the new dawn, and the new shogun will be Momonosuke, will be Odin's son. So that's where we end that scene. If I had to pick an MVP for this chapter, I would go with Raizo, because Raizo's dedicated. He's in the middle of a really epic ninja battle, in the middle of a giant inferno, basically. So yeah, he's going at it right there. And if anybody wants to know my special ninja technique, it's I hit you with a board. Ugh. Okay. Board! Ultimate ninja skill! Poof! A board. Okay. So anyway, yeah, what's next? Oh, Hawkins versus Killer. Okay, this is pretty epic. Okay. So Hawkins is transformed into his Gomu no So ability, the giant scarecrow man with the nails for fingers, and he's attacking Killer. Now, I think you could determine right away that Killer sort of has an advantage here, having the giant Punisher blades, like the giant sickles up against a straw man, okay? So yeah, I'm like, man, he's going to shred this guy apart. And you're right, he is. Killer is there, and he's a little winded, but you seem like he's more winded from the fact that you have to just kill Hawkins over and over and over again for it to finally stick because of his straw abilities with the voodoo dolls and everything. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, maybe 6 of the straw dolls just littering the battlefield as he's just hacking him apart. And so Killer is just kind of like, man, like, actually, is there a buzzsaw down here? I have a hacksaw. I should probably not play with this. I'm going to set this down and not touch it again. Okay, there might be a buzzsaw. Actually, no, yeah, there is one over there. I'm not going to go to that. I'm not great with power tools. Okay, so anyway, no, Killer is just slicing him apart, and he's just like, man, how many extra lives do you have? You know, it's like the Contra code. What's up with this? And so Hawkins is like, oh, well, tell you the truth, I'm actually running out of lives myself. I don't really have many left. But the question is not really how many lives I have left. The question is, whose live are they? And before he can really finish, you know, Killer takes out his Punisher blades and he stabs Hawkins right in the side. However, due to the ability, the straw man appears out of his body, and you see the injury that Killer just inflicted on him on the side. However, we then cut away to the second floor where we see Kid and Law facing off against Big Mom, and we don't really get a big, like, look into this fight. Big Mom is there in the background, kind of looming over them. She's laughing, you know, Mama. And so Law and Kid are there, but they don't seem like they're down for the count. Like, Law is still holding Kikoku and like they're fighting. So it doesn't seem like the fight has really gotten to like a big point yet. We're gonna focus on that a little later. But Kid begins to collapse because all of a sudden he just got stabbed in his side and he's like, where did this wound come from? So we still do not know the exact ritual or process or how Hawkins does this. But he's able to make anybody he wants into a voodoo doll for like his own body. So extra lives for him, right? So we don't exactly know how this works, if he has to like physically touch Eustace to like change it over to like the straw doll, or he has to like perform some kind of incantation or something with his tarot cards. But at whatever point, it doesn't really matter because Kid was locked up in Kaido's dungeon for a long time, so, you know, Hawkins had a lot of opportunities for this. So he basically turned Kid into the voodoo doll, and now if Killer wants to, you know, eliminate Hawkins, he has to basically kill his captain in order to do it first. And Hawkins, I'll tell you, trying to get Hawkins' personality throughout this arc, it's been kind of all over the place. You know, at the beginning of the arc when he fought against Zoro and Luffy, he was really just kind of stoic, like, you know, I am a headliner of Kaido's crew, I will bring you in. You will not be alive after a month in Onigashima or Wano or whatever. So, you know, he seemed really calm. Here you get to see a much more vindictive kind of side of Hawkins, where he really, like, enjoys toying with Killer, where he's just like, huh, you know, it would have been kind of interesting to have you fight against your captain without actually knowing it. Like if you killed me, and in the process you killed your captain. However, it's also amusing for me to tell you, for you to find out, and then now you have to struggle with the fact that if you injure me, you're going to injure your captain. So I wonder what you will do, Killer. I actually saw a really interesting theory somebody posted about this. Because Killer is missing an arm, he's missing, I believe, his left arm because it was ripped off by Shanks, probably because he said something to Shanks he shouldn't have said to Shanks. You know, and so he lost an arm. Maybe Killer could target the arm of Hawkins because he can only reflect the exact damage. It's not like if Hawkins gets hurt on the left arm, he can transfer that damage to Kid's head or something like that. No, it has to be left arm, like an equivalent exchange sort of deal, right? So with that being said, it would be very interesting for him to target the arm, cut off Hawkins' arm, and it cuts off Kid's arm too, but Kid doesn't already, he could just reassemble it with his magnet powers. Like the scrap metal might fall apart, but he could just, you know, gather it back together. So I think there's a few opportunities here to do it, and Killer could also just figure out a way, like a weakness of the straw fruit, because there has to be some way that he could take him out without directly harming Kid. I don't really know if Killer could do anything like this, but like maybe it doesn't transfer, maybe it only transfers physical injuries. So maybe if there's like another way that he could harm Hawkins that doesn't involve like physically cutting him up or like punching him, if there's like another way, maybe that would like supersede the effects of the straw fruit. I'm not really sure, but Hawkins' personality, very vindictive here, and he's just like, try your best. And of course, you know, Killer is very upset about this, but because he consumed a smile fruit, all he can do is laugh. So he's like, fa 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 fa. I mean, I'm gonna take you down, Hawkins. Fa 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 fa. Oh man, this is gonna be awkward fighting from now on. You know, it'd be cool if he could just get like a soundproof helmet, so every time he laughs, it comes out like really terrifying, and he has like a voice modulator or something. So even if he just lowers the tone or the pitch of his laugh, gets a special voice modulator in there, like kind of like Karasu with his loudspeaker, just be like, you know, like that would at least be more intimidating than what he has now. But anyway, so now we cut over to the live stage where awesome double page spread here. We see Queen in his hybrid form as a brachiosaur cyborg human, and then we also see King there ablaze, and they are now wiping the floor with all of the gifters that have changed sides due to Otama's Kibi Dango strategy, okay? And it's actually a really brutal scene because, you know, King is using his wildfire ability to just torch the entire festival hall. There's a woman that has a butterfly smile. We've actually seen her before, I think, a few times. She was one of the minions that actually try to destroy the Sunny. Remember her? And like her wings are on fire, you know, so it's just like her wings are getting torched and she's on the ground like screaming. And so King is just lighting everybody up. He's grabbing a gorilla smile user and just like, you know, lighting his face on fire and just like, traitors will not be tolerated, and just tossing them aside. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? Because last time we checked, Sanji was fighting against Queen, Marco was fighting against King, and even the rebellion, the samurai, are just like, where's Marco at? Every time King attacks, Marco shows up and protects us. Where is he at? It's like, I don't think he's gonna be getting up anytime soon. So we cut over and Marco's just beaten down. He's in some rubble. It looks like he's unconscious. Meanwhile, King is just lighting everybody. Oh wait, oh. Blowtorch. No, that is not a good idea. The buzzsaw is maybe a better idea than that. Do not give Tekking access to power tools in the immediate vicinity. But no, so Marco is down, Sanji got knocked back. We're kind of missing part of the fight here, but we can assume like, you know, Queen just kind of knocked Sanji down, or maybe, you know, Sanji was dealing with Queen, but then King knocked Marco down. King went to go deal with Sanji, and like they attacked him at the same time, and so that knocked Sanji back. He's not knocked out or anything, but he's just like, you know, rattled, and he's like, okay, well, this is going to be tough fighting both of them at the same time here. We cut over to see Zoro. He's still all bandaged up in the what's it called? The splint, you know, the full body splint, the cross joint. And so he's on the ground, and Miyagi and Chopper is there. Chopper is still in his baby Gramps form. So he's like, you know, Zoro, stay with us, you whippersnapper. You know, and just like he's talking like a baby, but also like an 85-year-old man or whatever. And so Sanji shouts over to them like, hey, you know, if he's not going to wake up and help fight, just get him out of here, okay? And so it's like, well, we already gave him the injection, but he was really injured. Like, he had like 25. I think that first estimate, that was just Law's immediate estimate that he broke like 25 something bones. It probably was more than that. And they probably were really important bones, like, you know, the knee bone connected to the thigh bone connected to the neck bone, the neck bones. I mean, all bones are connected. Did you see Luffy's Gear 3rd? He blows air into his bones. He's like, has one big super bone, okay? So everybody in One Piece world just has one big super bone that's connected to everything, okay? Well, anyway, she's like, yeah, he was really banged up, so it's probably going to take a little while for the medicine to work. And Sanji's like, well, get him out of here, because otherwise he's going to get lit on fire, okay? So they all pick him up. The samurai actually pick Zoro up, and they're actually very thankful for him fighting for them for so much. So he's like, yeah, we're going to get this guy to safety. Don't worry, okay? So they're running away. Miyagi and Chopper and Tristan, they're all running with him. So King orders for them to all go chase after Zoro. Sanji gets up, kicks freaking Queen right in the chin, gives him an uppercut, and he's going down. Then we cut over to Perospero. Now, Perospero is actually kind of tactical here, I got to admit. So he's basically made like a telephone pole, like a large like antenna out of candy, and he's perched himself on top of that, and he has his candy bow, his candy Yumi, and he's basically taking up the role as like a sniper. He's like way on the edge of the map, you know, he's like near the end, at the edge of like the entrance to Onigashima, way up high, and he's just like firing like the arrows down, you know, accurately, okay, so nobody can attack him. So he gets Sanji in his sights, and he's just like, if only you would have just married Pudding, we wouldn't even be in this mess right now, allying with the Beast Pirates. This is all your fault, Sanji Vinsmoke. I mean, failure. Failure of a Vinsmoke, or failure of a Germa. And he has him right in his sights, and he's about to take the shot when, boom, out of nowhere, Nekomamushi, like, you're now just... Wait, I actually can do it here. You're now! It just comes out of nowhere and just scratches Perospero up and just lands the hit on him as he shouts, you know, I'm here to avenge Pedro's death! And at this point, I can only imagine that Perospero is just like, I am done trying to reason with you people. I was not responsible for his death. He's the one that blew himself up. I didn't do anything. I was just there. You know, right? So I think Perospero's done with it, though. He's just like, fine, whatever. I'm responsible for Pedro's death. Let's go, giant cat. Let's fight. Okay? So they're beginning their battle. I hope Wanda and Carrot show up at some point, because that would be fun to see them all fight there, you know, for vengeance, but we'll see where it goes. So Zoro's being carried away, however King kind of lands right in front of them, like, where are you going with him? And he lights up a giant fireball, and he's about ready to throw it at Zoro, when at that point, boom, Marco shows up with his technique, Immortal Thistle. This is the same technique that I believe he used when Kizaru was firing the attack at Whitebeard back at Marineford, and like basically Marco turned into like a flaming blue shield, and he blocked the attack, and he's like, you can't attack the king so easily. Ironic, because he's using it against King right here. But Marco is back up and rolling, and he's like, he managed to block the attack right there. So he still has some gas in the tank, but, you know, taking on King and Queen at the same time for a long time. He held them back for a good chunk of this fight until Sanji showed up, okay? And now, what's up with Zoro? Well, I'll tell you what's up with Zoro, but, oh, actually, no. Before we get to that, we have to talk about this, because this is a big thing involving the lore. I'll be making a video about this. I don't know about this week, but I'll be making a video at this at some point. Marco hints at what kind of being King is, okay? What his race is. And so Marco states, you know, a while ago I used to hear rumors, and they're really just that. It's just some gossip, it's just some rumors I was hearing. But there was a certain race that could conjure fire, and they lived on top of the red line. And it's like, and you're King the Fire, or King the Wildfire. I wonder if they're connected. And that's all we really got here. Okay, now, as to just give you an idea where I'm at right now with this, I am really happy Oda went this route with it, because the red line has always been stated just to be this, it's the only continent in all of One Piece. It's a giant continent of red rock that stretches around the entire world, but the only places of interest in the entirety of the red line is Marijois. And then Fishman Island, I guess, but that's way at the bottom of the red line, not on top of it. So far, the only town or city or settlement or anything that existed on top of the red line was Marijois. And then the red port, which is at sea level, okay? So that's kind of built on the red line. But when it comes to, like, you start to think, like, okay, there's this giant continent that stretches thousands of meters off of the sea. Are there other towns or cities up there? Or is it just Marijois? Granted, if it's so high up, unless you are Marijois that has access to the red port and everything, it would be difficult. If you can't farm, can you farm? Or is there lakes on top of the red line? It's a massive continent. You'd think there would be. So I'm glad that Oda is exploring this. It could be a thing where the red line, if the red line is a natural thing, which I'm not really 100% sure on that, it might have been something artificially created to divide the world in half. But, you know, regardless of whether or not it is or isn't, you know, if King's species, if King's race lived on top of that red line for years and years, and then all of a sudden when the world government took over, they're the ones that wiped them all out because geography is everything. So, like, we want to be kings of the hill, like literally kings of the hill, you know, lord of the mountain or whatever, right? So they wiped out all of King's race, built Marijois, and King was the only survivor that managed to get away. We don't know how old King is. I mean, King might be hundreds of years old for all we know, right? He's covered up in the mask, and his race might age slower or different from humans and fishmen and merfolk. We just have no idea. So there's a lot of mysteries involving King, and also the fact he has black wings, oh, what about this? So the red line is not quite as tall as the White Sea or the White Sea, but it's up there. So one would actually say that if you live in the White Sea, you go one layer down to the White Sea, and if you go a little bit below that, you would probably reach the top of the red line, okay? So, like, what if it's like back in the day, if you were an exile from Sky Island, they would just kick you off and you would land there in the red line, and that's where, like, King's race, like, propagated there. Possibly. They already, now keep in mind, like, there's a lot more than just one Sky Island. Skypiea and the culture of Skypiea does not mean it's the same culture all over the world in every single Sky Island. Weatheria was a Sky Island, and they were completely different from the Skypians and everything. It was an artificial Sky Island, but still, So there could have been like, a Sky Island that was above like a certain area of the red line, and they exiled, certain members of their tribe by just kicking them off, and they landed on top of the red line, and they just began to make a settlement there, and maybe they lived there for a couple hundred years, and then the world government took over, and then they wiped them all out, except for King. But we'll talk about this in another video at some point in the future. So, Marco is there, and he's like flapping his phoenix wings, and Queen charges up his cyborg Lazor, and he's like, all the Whitebeard pirates should be dead and gone by now. And Marco, you gotta love Marco. Marco's like, hey, whoa, I'm not here to fight. I just showed up to block the shot and drop some lore involving King's race. Is that cool with you, King? King's like, it's like, okay, I'm actually just here to tag out and pass the torch, okay? And so at that exact point, Sanji shows up, and Zoro finally breaks out of his splint. All of the bandages, all of the wood just snaps at once, and Zoro's like, I am revived! And he just pops out, takes his sword, which I guess we're all wrapped up with him, and takes all the bandages off, and then in this amazing double-page spread, we end out the chapter with Sanji using Diabu Jambe, mutton shot, and then Zoro using Santoryu, Purgatory Onigiri. And so, boom, Zoro slices King, bam! Sanji kicks Queen in the face. Actually, the angle at which Sanji is like kicking looks like he's about to dislocate his damn leg. But okay, it works for him. Whatever. And so, boom! He hits Queen. Boom! He slashes King. And then there's a moment there. Everybody's cheering in the background, like, "Whoa! You guys did it! Zoro's back! For limited time only, but he's back." And then we had a scene where Zoro just kind of looks over at Sanji, just like, hey, twirly eyebrows, if we manage to defeat these guys, and if Luffy can defeat Kaido, Sanji's like, yeah, I know, we'll be one step closer to that. Luffy becoming Pirate King. And that's the end of the chapter right there. No break next week, so that's pretty good. But anyway, yeah, that was such an epic moment where they start to realize, they're still in a situation here. They're not going to be able just to be out of this. Like, oh yeah, just take out the Tobi Ropo, take out the All-Stars, kill a giant dragon, we'll be good. No, there's still lots of parts of this fight that are left. But Zoro and Sanji kind of acknowledge at the same moment, because they're there on the battlefield at the same time now, with Zoro back up in action. They're just like, hey, we're almost there. Like, if we win this battle, we don't have a lot of time left until he becomes the Pirate King. And of course, that's what they want to do. They are the wings, and even the caption at the end is just like, the wings take flight. The wings of the Pirate King, as Robin referred to Zoro and Sanji in the last chapters. This is what they are. They're there. Their dreams are important. Zoro wants to become the strongest swordsman, of course. Sanji wants to find the All Blue, of course. But their main goal is to support Luffy at this point, okay? And they don't have a lot of time left for that to actually become realized. Okay? So that's really important. Don't just overlook that one scene as like a cool one-liner, like Luffy will become Pirate King. No, this is the point in the story where you should actively start to think, okay, no, he's going to become Pirate King. He's been saying it for like 23 years or 24 years or whatever, but it's actually getting to the point where that's going to happen now. So, yeah, that's the chapter. Once again, I apologize for being, in a separate area and not wearing a suit and having to rely on Larry over here. But anyway, Thanks for watching the video. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week on how videos are going to be out. I think what I'm honestly just going to do is not do anything too clever with like theory videos or discussions. I was thinking about just going through the different like chapters of Shonen Jump this week and just filming a bunch at once and then just putting them out throughout the week just to make it easier on myself. They won't be super long videos, but at least there will be videos out. So I'll just make a quick video talking about Black Clover, My Hero Academia, Dr. Stone is really good, and Mashal. Might as well throw Mashal in there as well. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to do that this week. But no, this was a really good chapter. Let me know down below on, let's just go down the line here. So what do you think about the Tobi Ropo first of all? Do you think the Tobi Ropo are gone? Do you think they're all defeated? Technically Drake is still alive and active, but you know, he's defected. What I mean is, do you think Who's Who and Sasaki are going to get back up specifically? Because I think they're the strongest. What do you think about Denjiro? Where's Denjiro heading? What about the other scabbards? You know, what they're going to be up to, what's going on, you know, how Raizo and Fukurokuju's fight's going to end. How'd you feel about Fukurokuju's belief in the ninja way, in like the One Piece ninja way, not the Naruto ninja way, but this sort of ninja way, compared to Raizo's perspective on it, you know, fighting for Odin, basically seeing themselves as ghosts fighting for their master. How do you feel about that? The big question, of course, is King, you know, King's race and his connection to the Red Line and everything like that. I don't think Marco was like teasing us, like he actually knows and he was just lying, not lying, but he was just like being coy about it. No, I think Marco was really just being like, I was on Whitebeard's crew for like 40 years or something, for a long time. I heard some rumors that a species like kings existed and they can manipulate fire. They had like pyrokinesis. I heard they lived on the Red Line. I don't know where on the Red Line. I don't know what they were called. I don't know the story behind it. I don't know where they went. All I know is I heard rumors, and that's all Marco knows. But he would know because he was traveling with Whitebeard for most of his life, and he was a Yonko, so he would have heard things. And then, of course, Zoro is back. How long is this drug going to last? How long is he going to be able to fight? I'm going to say for probably one King battle. One battle against King, and as soon as the battle with King is over, he's gonna try to maybe go help Luffy fight Kaido, but then he'll be like, oh, and then his body will give out and he'll collapse again, and he'll even be in more pain. Well, anyway, that's the video, so yeah, just play it by ear this week and see where everything goes. Thanks for watching, thanks for all the support, everybody. This will be Tekking and Larry signing out. I have a broom. Bye, everybody. Probably should sweep up around here.